Prime Minister Narendra Modi calling upon India to respond, to wage a war on corona and to work towards a self-imposed Janata Curfew on Sunday the 22nd of March from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. saying this is the real test. If we can do this collectively as a nation of 130 crore, then we can win any battle, any fight together. This is what I call upon you. This is what he is demanding. And then, of course, the Spain and Italy like clapping to the service of all the COVID warriors, tirelessly working over the last 2 months. Bhupen Chaubey, Pallavi Ghosh, Maria Shakil, Vinay Deshpande with us. Bhupen, I want to start with you. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asking India to step up collectively to win this fight, because he says it's very, very serious. It's not as easy as you think it is.
I think it's a very significant statement which has been made by the Prime Minister. But I'm already beginning to ask myself, and I'm wondering as I speak to you, Anand, whether this decision which has been taken by the Prime Minister of taking a one-day curfew as a model, that Sunday the 22nd from the morning till 9 p.m. maintain this curfew, is it a sign of things to come? Is the Prime Minister somewhere preparing this nation just to ensure so that there is no panic? If people, as he rightly pointed out, don't indulge in hoarding, don't indulge in panic purchase of any equipment, whether it is medicines, whether it is vegetables, whether it is milk, everything is available in plenty. But this one day, 22nd of this month, the Sunday, is it just going to be restricted to one day or not, Anand? I think that the jury is still out on that one. My own gut feeling is, and on the basis of I've been speaking to various sources, both in the Health Ministry and the Prime Minister's office, I get this sense that this is just the beginning. It's almost like you're preparing a nation. Be prepared for the worst. This is how it will shape up. How it will impact the future. The jury's certainly out on that one.
Absolutely, and the Prime Minister also said that this is what is going to prepare us for whatever comes to us in the future, because we do not know if there is a community spread or not. Despite all measures that have been taken, there are irresponsible souls amongst us who have gone out among people. We hope and pray that there is no community spread and there is no outbreak like other nations have witnessed, Maria. And the Prime Minister says this is the test of us as a nation, our resolve and our patience.
Yes.
Can we self-impose this curfew on ourselves? And if we can, that means we can stand together as a country.
Yes, I think it is about Prime Minister, talking about in a very, very factual manner, Anand, that he was talking about how the event is unfolding. He did not try to hide facts or, gloss over of that things are all right, because things aren't. And it's a very matter of factly statement, at the same time trying to allay fears. But I think an important takeaway is the manner in which the markets have responded, Anand. The Prime Minister announcing the creation of COVID-19 Economic Response Task Force under Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. He's also saying that this task force will be looking at as much as the industries and their requirements and what will they need in the next few weeks and months. At the same time, people who are in the BPL category, for the poorest of the poor, and also who are those who have created jobs, because there is an impact on the economy which is visible. We have seen how the Dalal Street had, collapsed. Over the last few weeks, how there has been a massive, the events that have played out. So I think that creation of a task force is again a very important announcement that is coming. And of course, at the same time, he is playing on the fact that we have been a very resilient nation, that a nation that believes in coming together in hours of crisis. And at this hour of crisis, the Prime Minister is saying, let's come together. I'm telling you what really is the fact, that there is no vaccine, that there is no medicine at this juncture. It is about taking precautions. It's about social distancing. And that's what he has certainly stated.
Absolutely. And will the opposition join hands together? Will the opposition pitch in, A, Pallavi, and B, will the people of denizens of Delhi respond? Shaugato joins us from Kolkata. Stacey joins us from Bengaluru. Vinaya joining us from Mumbai. Will India collectively respond to this clarion call where the Prime Minister says, don't think all is well. All is currently well, but for it to be there, we need to be prepared for the worst. We need to test ourselves again. Can we quarantine ourselves, impose a curfew upon ourselves for 14 hours on a Sunday? Pallavi.
Why has he chosen Sunday? I mean, there's some who are asking this question. Why has he chosen a Sunday? I think this is just a test case. There are many important points which really comes in from the Prime Minister's speech. Now, Sunday is normally a working day, a family outing day. I know many would argue that there is not too many places to go out to, but there are still this tendency among us, on a Sunday, the family is together. Those who are working and who are not working from home, maybe they would use this opportunity to step out. I think the Prime Minister is telling us that this is the time to exercise self-restraint. That's one. Second thing is, when he talks about there's no need for panic buying. In the last few days, and I'm saying not just an announcement of Prime Minister's address to the nation, but in the last few days, we've seen it. I'm standing right outside the Bengali market area over here. There has been tremendous amount of panic buying over the last 2 to 3 days. And there has been so much of rumor, really, Anand, that, the main mandi over here, for example, is going to shut down. The wholesale markets are going to shut down. So the shopkeepers have also taken advantage of the situation. People are also responding equally, and one can understand why. I think the Prime Minister's words will come as a reassurance. That's one. And also, let's not forget, he's made a very important gesture which we should be making. Those 5 minutes, that's our payback time to those people who are actually taking care of us, a doctor. So when he says you come out, use your utensils, tap it, he's actually trying to do a replication of what was being done in Italy and Spain. We haven't forgotten those pictures which are viral on social media, people singing and dancing, or whatever, playing the music or the guitar. I think he wants us to pay that tribute to the real COVID warriors in those 5 minutes on Sunday.
True, absolutely. The 5 baje, 5 minute tali salute. And that is so well deserved, so that we thank those people who are faceless, those unsung heroes who've been rigorous with their follow-up, rigorous with educating people on ground, and of course working far over time, tirelessly. But Shogato, what does Kolkata and Bengal say? Hobe ki hobe na? 14 hours of Janata Curfew.
Well, Anand, there's really not much of a choice at this point in time because the kind of spread that this disease has had. And it is only a matter of time that if people do not exercise restraint, if people do not follow advices, the health advices that are being given out in such huge, proportions from various wings of the government, both the state as well as the center, it is really a fight that the community has to fight. It is not an individual's fight. It is not one government's fight. It is not, a fight of a group of doctors or nurses. It's really a community fight. And Kolkata, I believe, understands that, Anand, because, they have responded to some of these advisories that have already come out from the government. I am actually joined by a whole set of people who have been patiently listening to what the Prime Minister has had to say. Let me ask you, आपसे पूछते हैं कि ये जो संडे के जो जनता कर्फ्यू प्राइम मिनिस्टर का अपील में है, जनता कर्फ्यू, आप संडे सुबह 7 बजे से शाम की 9 बजे तक आप क्या घर में रहना चाहोगे? आप क्या प्राइम मिनिस्टर की ये अपील से आप क्या रिस्पॉन्ड करोगे?
Well, it has been requested by the Honorable Prime Minister कि on coming Sunday from morning 7 to evening 9 not to come out from the house and all. So I definitely I support him and but the thing is that there are so many people's those who doesn't have a house to stay and all, like, so
but we'll come to them. You tell me first, you are a responsible citizen, a Calcuttan. Will you respond to this call from the Prime Minister and choose not to venture out on the streets between 7 in the morning to 9 in the evening on Sunday?
Yes, definitely. When it has been requested by the Honorable Prime Minister, so definitely I'll.
And you see merit in his appeal, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right,
I do.
Right. I'll take another pose another question. आप आइए यहाँ पे.
Well, Shogata, I'll circle back to you. I just want to quickly. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Speak to them.
ओके जल्दी से ये बताइए कि ये जो हमारा जो ये कोरोना वायरस को लेके इतना टेंशन है, ये पीपल में इतना घबराहट है, तो आपको क्या लगता है ये घबराहट से काम चलेगा कि हमको डट के इसके लड़ना पड़ेगा? और क्या आपको ये लगता है कि ये जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर जो बोल रहे हैं कि पैनिक होके मार्केट में जाके आप सामान खरीद रहे हैं, आप बीइंग अननेसेसरीली वरीड, ये सब नहीं करनी चाहिए? लेकिन इसको डट के लड़ना चाहिए और इसके लिए घर में रहना चाहिए, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग करना चाहिए। क्या आपको लगता है ये सब करना चाहिए और क्या आप ये काम करेंगे?
जी मैं बिल्कुल करूँगा ये काम, क्यों सपोर्ट करना चाहिए। ये चीज़ जो हो रहा है ये सपोर्ट करना ही चाहिए, जो वो हम लोग के भले के लिए ही कर रहे हैं, वो किसी और के लिए नहीं कर रहे, हम लोग के भले के लिए करना चाहिए, इसलिए मैं बोलता हूँ करना ही चाहिए।
तो आप क्या उनके
बहुत बढ़िया,
पालन करोगे?
हर कोई, हर हिंदुस्तानी ये कर ले, हर भारतवासी ये कर ले, हर भारतवासी ये कर ले, तो बस जनता कर्फ्यू सक्सेसफुल, वॉर अगेंस्ट कोरोना विल बी won by India. That's what will happen. I'm going to quickly go across to Vinaya Deshpande. Vinaya, महाराष्ट्र करशील का, मुंबई करशील का, 14-hour कर्फ्यू, जनता कर्फ्यू.
It looks a bit difficult, Anand, because right now, as we are seeing, the kind of crowd that is still on the streets, shops still continue to remain open. People are out in the offices. They feel that, you know, even if there is an instruction by the government to stay back home, how much will that affect really? So there is a bit of carelessness as well among people, whereas those staying back home are going out, making merry, going to parks, taking their children down to
Well,
play.
that is a challenge. Vinay, I'll come back to you. I've got Babul Supriyo joining us. Union Minister Babul Supriyo joining us at this point. Babul, thank you very much. Janata Curfew, 14 hours on Sunday. That's the test of India's resolve and patience. And 5 o'clock for 5 minutes, it's the Tali salute. Tali, Thali, Siti, Ganti, kuch bhi bajao, lekin yaad karo unko who are working tirelessly against this virus to keep India safe. Do you think India can do it?
Well, India should do it, and I think India will do it. At a time when there was a lot of speculation whether the parliament is going to be on or whether it is going to be suspended for a few days, pushed for a few days. At that time there was a very inspiring speech that we heard. We had Honorable Prime Minister speak to us on a Tuesday meeting that we have. He said that leadership is not about staying home and running away from situations. If we think about closing down the parliament, and if we run away from the duties that people have given us as as representatives of certain areas, what happens to these people for whom we are going to do that 5 o'clock ritual of of clapping and whistling and doing whatever we can to make some noise? What is going to happen to them? If tomorrow the train, the drivers, they say that we're not going to be able to maintain that social distancing of 1 meter in a small cabin, in driver's cabin. If they say that, if the sanitation workers say that, if the car driver who's driving the patients to the hospital, if they start saying all of these things, then what is going to happen to the nation? I think it's a very important message that these unsung heroes, the behind the scene heroes, they need to be saluted in a manner, and I think they must be feeling the danger themselves as well. They are all like us. They have their own families.
Yes.
So this is it's going to be a great boost when the entire nation pays pays respect to them. And I think that when he spoke about the parliamentarians doing their job for the country and fighting and showing their leadership skills, I think what he said today, the very important thing, the USP, I think, is the fact that he could have easily gone ahead and said that the government has done everything, do not panic, everything is in place, stay put. He could have said that. But instead of saying that,
right,
he has actually addressed something that I am myself seeing, that people seem to be very callous about not going the walk of prevention. It's very casual approach. So he actually said that it is not so, that it cannot happen to us, and we have seen a peak happening in countries where it started and then went for a blast and then came down. So I think he made the country aware that you are not immune to such. It is not that कि मुझे नहीं होगा, किसी और को हो रहा है, but चलो मुझे नहीं होगा, so I can have a round in the market. So that's not true. I think it's a very prudent, timely message. It is going to do a lot of things for the country.
Right. So you're saying that, yes, it is a prudent, timely message. Just as I came across to you, you saw Vinaya Deshpande standing in Mumbai on the streets and saying people are still out on the streets. They're going about their jobs saying nothing has happened. Now, that's the challenge. And now, and one of the, skeptics are saying, ये किसके लिए trial run है? What is this trial run about on Sunday? Is this a sign of things to come?
Well, I think it is the trial run is for, I think what you said right now is that what I think Maria Shakil was saying, that on Sundays people will probably try to take a, what should I say, a reprieve, or probably that is a day when they'll think that, okay, now we have confined ourselves to our rooms, we have not gone to our workplace, let's do an outing in the Sunday evening, and you might see some careless acts happening on that holiday. So therefore, I think it could be a very smart thing, a very intelligent thing to bring that curfew on a Sunday, where you understand that that's not one weekend like any other weekend where you can just go out and have fun. Rather, stay home, stay close to your family, and be safe. Carry on the preventive measures. I think that's what is very, very important.
Right, Babul, if you could stay on, it will be wonderful.
I want to say one last line. One last line I want to say. My dad is 81 years old. I saw him today morning. He went to the market to get fish for my daughter. And this is how careless people are. I'm giving you my very own example. I want my dad to hear this. And people of his age should understand that this is not that ki kuch nahi, kichu hobe na, as they say in Bengali. Are kichu hobe na. I went to get the fish for my granddaughter. So everyone needs to hear this and understand that you can be the one who can catch this virus. Be careful.
Yeah, be careful. Absolutely. Babul, I request you to please stay on. I'm just going to go across to our reporters and just get a feel on ground, what the situation is and what the challenges that we as a nation face on imposing upon ourselves a Janata curfew for 14 hours. Vinaya, coming back to you, and then we'll go across to Stacey quickly. Yes, Vinaya, you are telling me that in Mumbai, Mumbaikars right now are a little carefree.
Well, absolutely, Anand. And if I can just request my video journalist to pan around and show the number of people who are strolling on the streets, visiting the shops that are open, generally crowding around to see the shooting that's happening here. It's confounding because at a time when the government has time and again said that the people should stay back home and that they should try and not venture out. Here you can see that people are playing on the ground, generally running around, taking a stroll. It's an evening time, family time with them. And look at this. Here we are outside a shop and people are generally standing here. So as you can see, the attitude of the people is quite callous throughout the city. We have seen, in fact, we were ourselves stuck in an extremely bad traffic jam for over 40 minutes in Dadar area because people are on streets with their cars and people are trying to go back home. So not many people seem to be taking this curfew issue seriously. Not many people seem to be taking the fact that
quite shocking, because earlier in the day, Vinaya, when I was in the Haji Ali area, there were hardly any cars on the road. So during the day, there is a curfew-like situation, then the roads are very sparse, and in the evening, people start coming out. The virus doesn't choose that to operate during the day and go on a holiday or in the night, ladies and gentlemen. It's around us at any point in time. So this curfew and this discipline has to be followed right through 24 hours. Stacey, south of the Vindhyas, what is the situation? How will Bengaluru, how will Karnataka respond?
Well, Anand, I'd like to say that the situation here is quite opposite to what Vinaya is describing, at least in Mumbai, because I'm here on Church Street, supposedly the most popular, buzzing street. And if I can show you, it is quite empty, it is quite dull, and you do not have those regular people who are pub hopping, given the fact that pubs are shut. But let's ask the people themselves, Janata curfew, is it something that can be maintained? We are seeing lesser crowds here. Do you think come Sunday from 7 to 9 p.m. people are going to stay indoors? Is it something that is going to be, taken seriously?
Well, I don't think so that people are looking forward to come. Churches is the most happening place in Bangalore, because I don't feel that people are going to stay back in the house, because Saturday and Sunday it's a high voltage time that people are coming forward, and these days also the pubs and all the things have been shut down. But I don't think that it's going to make a huge difference. But we'll have to wait and watch that how many people would be coming here to Church Street and looking forward for the most happening place. So it all depends on how crowd takes place in this.
But given the fact that there is this fear among people, and you know the most that people can do at this point is to stay indoors, to try and restrict and contain it. So that is this a message that we're trying to give out to people, that stay indoors, stay safe?
Right. Yes, it's a good message for the people who can stay indoors, because 7 to 9 it's almost a huge prime time also as well, I could say that. And it's also it's a huge difference which makes people understand that yes, they need to take care of themselves as well.
It is not 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. It is 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. You got to tell Stacey, you got to tell him, and you got to tell this gentleman with you that not just Bengaluru, all of India needs to step out at 5 p.m. onto their balconies and salute the COVID warriors for 5 minutes. We need to do this. We need to do this together. The Janata Curfew and the Tali Salute on the 22nd of March. That is also World Water Day on Sunday. We take a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's the test of India's patience and resolve as Prime Minister Narendra Modi says that COVID-19 still remains a threat larger, bigger than World War I and World War II. Just because we've been able to arrest the community spread so far doesn't mean that there will not be an outbreak. The threat still looms large, and that's why Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called upon India to test itself, test its patience and resolve, test its commitment to the country and its citizens by imposing upon itself a Janata Curfew on Sunday, the 22nd of March from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. And he's also called upon India to come out of their homes and their balconies, wherever they are, to laud and applaud collectively as a nation the efforts of the COVID warriors, those who have been tirelessly working for the last 2 months plus to keep India safe, to keep India healthy, and are continuously monitoring the spread and the infection of COVID-19 virus. Babul Supriyo, the Union Minister, with us. Dr. K.K. Agarwal, former President of the IMA, with us. Niti Jain of the BJP with us. Sanjay Jha will be joining us. I'm going to quickly ask Babul Supriyo first. Babul, the big question is, India still has not taken the threat of COVID-19 seriously. There are many people who are talking about it. But like you said, a lot of people think, mujhe kuch nahi hoga. Will Sunday help us beat that?
Well, Sunday, as I said, is a smart, intelligent way to go about it. As I said, because Sunday people might try to, free themselves or act carefree. I just think that it is not about going for the test on Sunday, but it's about passing the test. Just going for the test wouldn't be enough. We need to pass the test on Sunday, and then thereafter carry on with the restraint which is required at this hour, and not at all think that you are invincible. That is the most important thing. Anyone can just have it, and therefore be careful. And that is exactly, and I'm really very, very happy that in no uncertain terms the Honorable Prime Minister said that this can get really, really worse. The government is doing what can be done, but never think that this danger is over. He could have just said that everything is in place or kuch nahi hoga, and you are safe and all, you're in safe hands and all of that. But he actually made the nation aware of the seriousness of this pandemic, which we have really not seen in many years. Even in World War, he said it has not seen so many countries get affected by something so similar. So it's a dangerous situation, so, and we should be more careful and get away from this carefreeness. That's true.
Absolutely. Dr. K.K. Agarwal, do you agree with the Prime Minister? Because he was very, very candid. He also talked about the economic distress. He also talked about the need for the corporates to take care of the people. He also talked about the daily wages. He said that there is an economic package in place. But more importantly, he's saying that the government is doing its bit. The citizens now have to step up. I think we've just lost Dr. K.K. Agarwal. Babul, I'm going to circle back to you for one last question. I know you also have commitments at your end, and you've stayed back here on the broadcast. Let me ask you this. Kolkata responded positively. When Shogato asked people in Kolkata, they said, "Hum karenge. Agar sabke liye karna hai, hum karenge." But do you believe this attitude will permeate across cities? Because we saw that Mumbai is a little carefree.
Do it for yourselves, man. Do it for yourselves. Be safe. I think, you know, what is very, very important is that to understand that there is no cure, there are no vaccines, there are no medicines available for this. So, you know, if you feel that staying together in one room, you know, or not letting yourself this free time of going out and moving around on a Sunday, to think that you are entitled to do that after having kept yourself quarantined for 7 days, remember that 3 minutes of careless time, you never know, could be fatal for you, could be very dangerous for you. So it's a test for yourself. Do it for yourself, do it for your loved ones, and then it all adds up when you do it for the country.
One of the issues is this irresponsible behavior. People who know they have been exposed, people who know they should actually automatically go into self-quarantine. PV Sindhu has gone into a self-quarantine because she's just come back from the All England tournament in Birmingham. Pulela Gopichand has shut down the academy, saying, no, we don't want any exposure. But there are others, like that boy, that person in Kolkata, who, despite being advised that he needs to be hospitalized, roamed around for 48 hours. His mother works as a special secretary in the Bengal government. That's irresponsible behavior. We can't afford that.
They should be punished so that people know that, you know, this is not, they are not only putting themselves at risk, they might be careless about their own lives, but they cannot do it to the society. And that's why Sunday is important. The days ahead are important. Do it for yourself. Let it all add on as an act that you have done for the country and for the society.
Well, Babul Supriyo, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Neeti Jain is with us. I'm going to just check if we have Sanjay Jha, Dr. K.K. Agarwal, Dr. D.R. Rai through with us to take us forward in this broadcast. Varun Khera, restaurateur, will also be joining us any moment now. But Neeti Jain, do you think India will respond? And he's also said, the Prime Minister, our job doesn't stop with self. We need to pick up the phone, make people aware, tell people that they need to impose this curfew upon themselves. Because this is testing our resolve. This is a test and we need to pass this.
You know, Anand, I'm certain that the country will respond. But more than that, I think it is me. It is the individual that needs to take that call that I will respond. I will follow the 9 steps that Modi ji has given out. And that would be a good enough beginning. I am going to start with my family. I'm going to start with my friends and make that circle bigger. But before I pick up the phone and call others, I think I need to fall in line with everything that has been said. That said, I think whatever the Prime Minister has said today was a very balanced discourse about not panicking and still not being complacent about whatever is happening. Because the way this has grown in other countries, it would be very foolish to think that hum logo ke saath, like you were just saying, ki mere saath nahi hoga. That is the kind of complacency that is going to harm the individuals a lot. And that is why it is important to take precautions. It is important to fall in line with all that the Prime Minister has said, or the state governments are saying, or the administration is saying. So there needs to be that responsibility in every individual to take this forward.
True. Dr. K.K. Agarwal through with us. Dr. D.R. Rai, former IMA Secretary General, also with us. Sanjay Jha is also joining us on the broadcast this evening. Dr. K.K. Agarwal, how would you see the Prime Minister's address? Do you believe that this is an experiment to prepare us for the future? This is testing India's resolve and patience? Or do you believe this is coming at a time which is critical for India to stem the possibility of a community spread?
So we have to prepare the country. There may be a situation you may end up into a multiple lockdown situation. In that particular situation, you need a preparation. And this is the best time to prepare because Navratras are coming. And if you take one-day experiment and if you practice, and then the Navratras come, and during Navratras, in any way, everybody is fasting. And if you get locked down during Navratra, this is the best phase to practice it on this Sunday. Built up a confidence, and now the whole country will build it up. The confidence will come in everybody, and everybody would say we would do it. And if you do it for one day, you can do it for another 10 days during Navratras.
Well, I'm going to go across to Sanjay Jha. And Sanjay Jha, if I may ask you, how would you respond to the Prime Minister's clarion call? The imposition of a Janata Curfew. Do you believe India will respond positively? Do you believe this is a timely move to test India's resolve and patience?
Anand, firstly, I do feel that the Prime Minister did the right thing by not trying to underestimate the magnitude of the threat of coronavirus. It was very important today to not, give any false reassurances. You got to face the, as I say, bite the bullet and take the bull by the horns. I'm glad that he was extremely vocal in saying, listen, this is a formidable challenge. And if you are under this notion that this is not going to happen or this will diminish on its own, that's not likely to occur. I think this is a very important candidness that the Prime Minister demonstrated. Number two, I also feel that, his statement that nobody should try and hoard essential commodities, because we in the government will make sure that, the rice, the milk, the sugar, and all the other things that are household needs will be provided in terms of an uninterrupted supply. That, I think, will also, kind of put a limit on those rumors or diminish the rumors that we are heading towards panic buying and, all kinds of hoarding. These are two very positives from the Prime Minister's speech. I also think that he's trying to tell the people of India that we need to participate in this in this entire project of fight back is welcome. The disappointment for me were twofold. One is that, the people who are really getting devastated by the coronavirus outbreak for the last couple of weeks are really the daily wage earners. And I believe that this Janata Curfew and all is far too synthetic and cosmetic. I posted out pictures here from Pedder Road where I live, a very high traffic density in South Mumbai linking to North Mumbai. Believe me, people of India are responsible, and I think they are actually voluntarily participating in this fight back. I do believe that you have to take care of people who can't live day to day if they don't get their income. And I think addressing their problem should have been the primordial challenge for today. I think the Prime Minister did not address that.
But don't you think that was done, Sanjay Jha? Because the Prime Minister said, because the Prime Minister said, he addressed the issue saying that there is an economic task force under the Finance Minister which is looking at relief packages for, the government has already announced a 12,000 crore relief package for the airline industry. They've also issued, the Prime Minister has come out and urged entrepreneurs to see that that the daily wage laborers, people working with them, for them, do not suffer. There are no wage cuts. And clearly, state governments have already started deciding that, the daily wage laborers will be taken care of. The Prime Minister did say that the government is conscious of the fact that this is economically going to hurt a lot of people and their livelihood.
Anand, just one quick point. You see, right now, there has been a massive crash in oil prices because of the politics between Russia, Saudi Arabia, etc. There's falling demand. China is no longer a buyer. Now, the government is getting a huge external windfall. Now, what the Prime Minister ought to have done, because you're addressing the nation, right? This is a good time to actually say, listen, those who are disadvantaged, marginalized, and are taking the brunt of this. And let me tell you, this may last weeks. The Prime Minister did admit this is going to last weeks, which means it can be months. In which case, trying to reassure them by saying, listen, we will work on giving you some sums of money beginning next month. He didn't have to quantify the amount, would have really sent a very positive message. But I do hope the government will do that very, very quickly. The Janata Curfew, I'm not so convinced is the right step. Because, end of day, there are so many people who have to go out on a Sunday to earn their living. On a crowded day in Mumbai, the daily wage earners actually wait for a holiday. What do? Although they will probably still go out there, but they may have no buyers.
Right. But right now the Prime Minister says essential services, if you have to go out, go, but then stay indoors. Try and impose this curfew if you can follow this discipline. Those who are going to get hurt, will they be taken care of? That's a big question that comes. Dr. D.R. Rai, do you welcome this move? The Prime Minister deciding to test the country. I've got Dr. Raghuram also joining us. But first, Dr. Rai.
Definitely, I will appreciate the Honorable Prime Minister, who has given a nice lesson to the public of the country as a sincere guardian. He has not warned, but he is advising, if we discipline ourselves, if we keep ourselves in a line, and the God has also God help those who help themselves. If today I am concerned for myself, then only I am concerned for the public also, then only I am concerned for the others also. So our Honorable Prime Minister has outlined the things. If we follow all these things, nothing bad is going to happen. And by the way, our one gentleman was telling about the self-curfew. Self-curfew is only to teach them. See what is happening in America today. 70 lakh people have been kept locked. And at present, this condition has not come in our country. So, by the way, let's hope, worst for worst, if the things comes, our public should be ready to accept that also. And again, I will appreciate the Honorable Prime Minister. He has told we should not be complacent. We should not be happy. Until unless we are not prepared, we are not helping ourselves, otherwise we will land in the soup only. Yes.
No, very fairly said. But Niti Jain, this is also a valid point that there are people who are earning, who are daily wage laborers, or the fact is that their income is based on what they are able to sell through the day. They may be, rediwalas, they may be, stall owners, chai walas, whatever, at metros across the country, at tier 1, tier 2 cities, even in villages. What is going to happen to them? How are they going to impose a curfew on themselves and not go out and peddle their wares and their business on a day when it's maximum earnings for them, like a Sunday? That's a big test and a big ask.
Anand, the point is that
Komal Nata also with us. Good evening. Coming to you, Komal.
The reason this curfew is being imposed is, I think, like Pallavi said earlier, that this is a Sunday. People usually go out to the malls, to all of the other public places, and this is the reason that they need to stay out. What is happening today in Italy or in Spain, where an entire lockdown has happened, we are trying to avoid that kind of a situation. The daily wage earners that you're talking about are going to be more severely hit at that time. So the context that we are talking about for this public Janata curfew is entirely different. Everybody is going through a troubled times. It's not like such a travesty is going to hit you and anybody is going to get out of this easily. That said, I think you made a very valid point that the government has already spoken about the task force that is being looked into. The Prime Minister spoke about the wages of the people not to be cut, let them be given the wages. So he's spoken about all of those things. There's an emergency relief fund also that has been set aside for this cause. So the point of today's address was basically that the government is doing what needs to be done. There can be many more suggestions and the government is open to that. But the point is that the government alone would not be able to fight the kind of travesty that we are looking into. So the society and the people need to come together and take all of these suggestions very seriously to be prepared for what is coming. Not to panic, but still be prepared for what might happen.
Society will be prepared, but I've got viewers asking me these questions. Viewers are saying, all right, we can afford to stay for 12 hours, 14 hours, and we will obviously laud the COVID warriors. But are we going to be expected to stay like this for a few more weeks? When the Prime Minister says a few weeks, is this a trial run? What is this going to be? Dr. P. Raghuram, let me ask you this. What is the sense that you get before I go across to Komal Nata and Varun Khera? Yes.
Thank you very much for having me on your show. First of all, the Prime Minister's message, as always, is crystal clear. He has addressed every segment of the society. He started off by saying that the problem is immense, and he expressed very clearly about the gravity of the situation. He then straight away went on to the fact that he emphasized social distancing and why it is so important. And clearly, as a doctor, it is so inspiring that he has paid rich tributes to the medical fraternity who have been working very hard, and he in fact exhorted the people on this Sunday evening to appreciate what they have done at 5 o'clock. And equally, this morning I had tweeted him with a request to send a message that all elective surgeries and non-urgent outpatient appointments must be deferred, and this message must go through. And this is a request that I had made in a tweet and also sent a message to the PMO. And I'm so glad that this has found place in his address to the nation.
Yes, it is.
He has very clearly spoken and prepared the nation for a longer period of perhaps a lockdown, and that is a test this Sunday, where this Janata Curfew will be the first test for people to stay indoors. That is a very important component of social distancing. He has even addressed the elders, advising them on more than one occasion not to leave home, and emphasized that if we have to contain the transmission and spread of this unwelcome visitor in our lives, it's very important to have the social distancing.
True. And Sanjay Jha, I'm just going to quickly circle back to you. Let me ask you this. Yes, there are going to be problems. There are going to be people who are going to suffer. But India can shoulder that responsibility. There are people who can come up and say, listen, we've got Friday, we've got Saturday. We will try and help everybody to be able to pull through Sunday. Pull through a day which is going to be a big earnings day. And we can all prepare. We've got 48 hours to prepare, equip ourselves, not by hoarding things, but by trying to say, all right, who are the people in our ecosystem who may have to suffer if they don't earn through a day? Can we help those people? Can we ensure that these people can be taken care of? Of course, the local administration is going to work. Of course, state governments are going to work. But we have to figure out a way. This is hardship for everyone. Irrespective of how many zeros they have against them, one or 10, and forget the digits, everybody is suffering. So it's collective. It's a leveler.
Anand, let me tell you, this is an extraordinary situation. And I think, therefore, all of us have to rise in an extraordinary fashion. I mean, very often I believe we are living some kind of a science fiction world, one of those deadly thrillers where humanity is being threatened by an unknown monster, which is getting, bigger by the day. So I totally agree with you. And I do believe, and there is no denying this reality, that we all have to collectively realize that we are individually responsible. The Prime Minister today, I think, appealing to individuals that you be cautious, be circumspect in terms of your meetings or interactions is, I think, a reinforcement of something that the people of our country are beginning to understand. The fact that the Prime Minister says it, obviously it will have hopefully a much deeper impact. I think the point that all of us need to probably take a deep breath on is that at the moment, even as we talk, if you look at the numbers, it's escalated in Western countries, which have very good public health infrastructure. They are very robust in terms of their communication, and their population size is much smaller. Therefore, if America is looking vulnerable and the UK is equally becoming a high crisis point, then India needs to worry. And I do agree with you that at this point, all of us need to get out of this, the dangerous phase that we are in, where if it kind of escalates, then we could be in some serious trouble. I was reading an expert who said that India and Russia are the two most vulnerable in terms of a future explosion. So I think the Prime Minister, to that extent, was very reassuring. I'm just going to hope that the government will walk the talk, especially when it comes to those who are likely to feel a massive pressure. And I want to give you one suggestion, Anand, before we move on. There may be a lot of people who will lose jobs. And I believe the public sector and the private sector banks have to be told by the government, please give people a moratorium on EMIs for house loans. This is going to be tough. Companies are public sector, public companies. They will have their shareholder value to worry about. This is a moral persuasion that the Prime Minister has done. And I do hope everybody walks the talk. But the government will have to demonstrate the intent to completely take it to its logical conclusion. Support the weak, support those who lose jobs, back the sectors that are bleeding, and make sure that people in government, do so with responsibility. Let's not do large gatherings and, do celebrations right now. This is not the time for that.
No, absolutely. And yes, this is a time for festivals, and this festival actually tests resolve, and let's use that resolve to collectively fight this war on corona, and let's not be selective there, and let's not say this will okay, this is okay, and that is not. It's not the time to play politics. It's the time to put the country and its citizens first, and the war on corona give that primacy. Thank you very much, Sanjay Jha, for taking the time out, for joining us here on this newscast. I'm just going to take this entire story forward and go across to people like Varun Khera and Komal Nata. Komal Nata, a Sunday where 14 hours, India is going to be imposing a curfew on itself, so they're going to be indoors. So on a Sunday, it's a field day for content providers. Every entertainment channel, every channel is going to put out its best content. Every OTT platform is going to put out its best content. But behind this content is a whole workforce, running into crores, who are also bearing the brunt of COVID-19.
Yes, of course, that is right. But since all the associations of producers, whether it's television serial producers, film producers, web series, everybody has taken a decision, and the Federation of Western India Cine Employees, which is the umbrella association for all the workers, cine workers, which includes television workers and web series workers, since all these associations together have taken the decision to stop shooting. Shootings have been stopped. So I think those television channels and those television shows which already had banked episodes, they would stand to gain, or the web series. Generally, the web series are foremost in banking episodes, so they would put out their best, and there is also a chance that if you don't have banked episodes, you will repeat the best episodes. You will repeat that content which had got you huge TRPs in the past. So I think each one must now be doing number crunching and trying to, like you would say, trying to put his or her best foot forward, because this is their chance to get the maximum TRPs again if they are repeating.
Right. Well, so everybody is going to be in a race for content and content maximization in terms of getting maximum number of people to watch them.
Yes.
We would suggest, for a change, watch the news channels. Watch CNN.
As it is, people are starved of entertainment.
But it's going to be an exciting political weekend too, because there is a floor test in Madhya Pradesh that's happening tomorrow. There is a fight against COVID-19 that is going on, and and we've got a spread of reporters like nobody does. Across the country, ladies and gentlemen, we are the largest news network. We've got more than 1,000 people who are working, and the Prime Minister said the media is doing its job and will continue to do so. We will take our precautions, we'll stay safe, we will stay healthy, but we will continue to bring you the news very responsibly. So watch us all through Sunday, perhaps all through Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then thereafter. But we're going to take a very, very short break on that note, ladies and gentlemen. The Home Minister, Amit Shah, has just tweeted. As we go into a break, I'm just going to read this out quickly. Amit Shah has just written and tweeted saying, प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने आज कोविड-19 से लड़ने के लिए जो विचार और सुझाव सामने रखे हैं वो अत्यंत प्रेरक और आवश्यक हैं। हम स्वस्थ तो जग स्वस्थ, हम स्वस्थ तो जग स्वस्थ के मंत्र के साथ प्रधानमंत्री जी द्वारा बताई गई दो प्रमुख बातें, संकल्प और संयम ही हमारी महामारी का रोकने का सबसे कारगर उपाय है। संकल्प और संयम, पेशेंस and resolve. That's what we need to practice. Hum swasth to jag swasth. Stay with us. We'll see you on the other side of a short break. Varun Khera coming to you after the break.